The one that scares me is the short cycle. The kind of slightly stunted. I think that was the last cycle was like that. And I think we all have PTSD, so we can deal with that one. If they take away the punch bowl a bit early, we can kind of deal with it because most people are sort of expecting it. A relatively normal cycle, I think people are fine with. My fear is the 2013 double pump. That's terrifying. Because that was what, a 45% correction mid-bull market. Everybody thought it peaked because it had already done 10x or 20x or 30x, whatever the stupid number was. And then it did like another 20x from that point. I think people have been aware for a long time now that everybody's pretty fucked. And the world is kind of rigged against you unless you have all the assets. And so people get that. So I think a lot of people have been thinking through it. I think what's interesting is most people agree what's gone wrong. People aren't sure how it went wrong. I'm demographics biased, other people are whatever. But they kind of all roughly agree with the problems itself. Debt, aging populations, excess intervention by central banks to try and solve these problems, all of these things, government interventions in the whole thing. But people have, financial markets are problem solvers by core. So they're always looking for different ways. And, a bunch of people would say, and have been saying for a long time, gold is the answer. And gold has done okay in this environment. It's protected global purchasing power. Hasn't created wealth, but it's kind of protected. Other people look at other ways of doing it. And I got to the conclusion that if everything is correlated and driven by this same debt cycle, then you just want to back the fastest asset. And by a long way, it's crypto, which I keep pounding the table, have done since 2014 on Real Vision, that this is the biggest macro opportunity of all time. Since the first time I talked about Bitcoin on Real Vision, it's up 450,000%. There's not even an AI company to trade. We're trading, so I don't know how it's a bubble. I mean, you can trade Microsoft, but it comes with a bunch of other stuff. NVIDIA, okay, it's a chip maker. Yes, it's creating AI software and other stuff. That's the closest we've got. So it's not like there's a bunch of, it's not like 2000 where every tech company goes up. We just don't have that. So I'm not sure how investable it really is outside of the semiconductors, which I've been long of for a year for pro macro and also in the exponentialist. And they've done incredibly well. And they continue to go well because there was a panic to buy compute. But what was really interesting is Elon Musk was talking earlier in the week about, okay, there's a panic to buy compute now. Most people have put in the sort of orders they need to put in. So going forwards, NVIDIA's growth may slow, whether it's next year or the year after, and it will inevitably slow, right? This is like a pandemic panic into purchasing stuff. But he's like, well, the next thing is you need transformers to step power down from power plants to chips. And it's like, we don't have enough in the world. He was speaking at Bosch, the German electronics company, and said, you guys need to make more of this stuff. We're about to run out of the ability to generate enough power to generate all of this stuff. And then he's saying, and then we've got a problem with electricity. We're just not ready for the amount of power we need for this compute. So this story is going to keep unfolding. And we really have only just started. Everybody knows how messy the system is. I think the central bankers are not stupid. Everybody knows, and they know what they're doing. They're debasing currency to try to not let the system blow up because all of the savings are with the retirees, and it's a big mess. So their one job is to not allow the migration into crypto land to happen too fast. I don't think they're going to stop it. I don't think they even probably want to stop it. I don't think the banks want to stop it. I don't think anybody wants to stop it. But I think their real job is to slow it down. What they don't want is Bitcoin as deemed to be a currency, a world currency. As an asset, as a store of value, knock your socks off. As an investment, no problem. You want to build on top of it, technology, no problem. Just don't think of it as a world currency because that threatens the overall system. But I just think of them as throttling it. So even, I think all of us are laughing at the SEC trying to now call Ether security. I think it's just a delay tactic as ever. Just slow it down. Also, the RAAs do the same kind of thing. It's like they just often will say to their clients, we'll put 1% of your portfolio in discretionary stuff. So that changes. I think they all are aware how volatile this is. It's been sold to them as a volatile asset, and it's a long-term thing. My guess is there's more long-term holders. Later, you'll get the FOMO retail of everybody trying to do this. But right now, this is a lot of people like Bitwise, Fidelity, Franklin, everybody going to their client base, talking them through it, explaining it. This is more thoughtful allocation. The other thing that people haven't realized is you can now put it in your 401k. So the average millennial who's a buyer of the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 passive index products will buy this. And they'll buy it every 2 weeks with their paycheck. And so we will see a difference in the structure of flows, as Jamie's alluding to. It's just going to change. Probably means it's less volatile on the down cycle. It also could cause a full bubble on the up cycle this time around because you've got numerous new participants who could enter. And, this is a limited supply asset and 80% of it's hoarded. So it can get pretty tricky. So I don't know how it plays out, but I don't agree with Jim Bianco. I know a lot of purists don't like it because it's an ETF and not people opening wallets and self-custodying. I actually think of it as a Trojan horse where we're actually teaching people about this product. Before you know it, they understand why they're buying it and they come into crypto land. So I think it's relatively good quality holders. Also, Hunter Horsley hinted that I think it's on the quarterly statements. You'll see who the big holders of the ETFs are. And he hinted that you'll be surprised who's on the list. So the motivations for people to be investors is exactly the same as the motivation for wellness. It's your future vision of yourself. They're identical. They're very similar behavioral motivations. And now we've got this nexus where technology has met with this wellness trend, and you've got this longevity stuff that's happening, plus the ability to, at scale, cure disease, diagnostics, preventative medicine, things that didn't exist before. And it's only going to accelerate with the use of AI. And I had been talking to Peter Diamandis about this in the past. We had Tom Bilyeu talking about it in the past. I've been down this rabbit hole, and Jamie and I were talking off camera. He's going down the rabbit hole. We all go down this rabbit hole because, once you get a few grey hairs in your beard, you start thinking, oh my God, I am now. And Jamie's just had a kid. It's like, oh shit, I now need to think about my longevity. Oh, you've got the grey bits in your beard, I can see. And so you do start thinking about it. So I really wanted to speak to Peter Diamandis. Said, well, I've started a whole set of, cutting edge clinics called Fountain Life. So I'm like, that's who I want to speak to. So Bill Cap came on and talked to me about what they're doing, the diagnostics, the preventative stuff, and how advanced it is and how far behind your own doctor is, or your average cardiologist, or your, average oncologist, and all of this stuff. And so it was a really, really interesting conversation. And there's been several of these on Real Vision as I've gone down that kind of on the journey, man. I've kind of gone down this rabbit hole because I think it's an important one and one that I'm personally interested in. And that's not assuming any of us are perfect. Tom Bilyeu is perfect. It's like he wears a glucose monitor at all points. He doesn't eat anything. He does, he's so disciplined. I'm not. But you try and head in the right direction most of the time and try not to fuck it up. And, how to unfuck your future, a very important part of it. There's no point getting all your investments right and being in bad health.
Thank you for joining us today on this insightful journey into the world of crypto and investing. If you found value in today's discussion and want to stay updated on future crypto news and market insights, don't forget to hit subscribe button below and click the notification bell. By subscribing, you'll be part of our growing community, gaining exclusive access to timely analyses and strategies. I look forward to having you with us in the next video.